You don't need a science degree to see that these days the world is kind of going to shit. This is a tech channel, so we won't discuss the war in the Middle East, the trade war, or the fact that I'm losing all my savings in the stock market. But it's enough to know that we've messed up this planet so badly that we are now sending manned missions to the moon and considering building a base there. And, while the world is slowly melting, Microsoft is burning through billions of dollars, Oracle is laying off tens of thousands of employees after record-breaking profits, and Google just proved that your crypto made-up money could soon be open source together with all your passwords and private data. So in this Monday morning review, we'll change things up a bit and we'll look at how big tech is making efforts to speed up the demise of the human race. We're officially entering the post-efficiency era of tech. For decades, the goal was to make things smaller, faster and leaner. But these days, it looks like the entire tech sector has pivoted towards bigger, more expensive and preferably radioactive. Everybody knows that LLMs are extremely resource-intensive. A single ChatGPT query requires 10 times the energy of an old-school Google search, but what I find more impressive when it comes to pushing the limits of burning resources is the fact that a typical large-scale AI data center can burn through 5 million gallons of water a day, which is the amount of water used by a town of 50,000 people. And keep in mind that this is not your usual water cooling process, where cold water enters a pipe on one end and comes out hot on the other end. In the world of AI hyperscaling, that water is consumed. The process is called evaporative cooling, and it is essentially forcing the data center to sweat. In order to keep those H100 GPUs from turning into expensive silicon paperweights, these facilities spray millions of gallons of fresh water into the air to carry the heat away, so the water doesn't go back into the river. Instead, it turns into a cloud and drifts away. In other words, we are literally boiling our local water supplies into the atmosphere so that you can 10x your productivity and give more impressive updates in your daily meetings. And Microsoft's answer to all of this is to restart the Unit 1 nuclear reactor at the infamous 3 Mile Island nuclear station. Now, if you were to Google 3 Mile Island, you'll see that it was the site of the most significant accident in US commercial nuclear power plant history, but don't let that discourage you. In the industry, this is seen as a step forward because it signals the end of the green software era and the beginning of the atomic cloud era. Don't confuse this atomic cloud, which usually contains your Copilot subscription and your team's calendar, with an atomic mushroom cloud, which usually contains a nuclear winter, the end of civilization, and our own ticket to a Fallout live show. So, in other words, in a couple of years, your yearly free ChatGPT doctor's appointment will not be powered by a wind turbine, but by good reliable decaying uranium. But if the idea of spending your life in an underground bunker while attending your uranium-powered Teams meeting doesn't sit well with you, don't worry. The world's greatest snake oil salesman is ready to bring the problem of space junk to a whole new level with orbital data centers. Since these data centers are always exposed to direct sunlight, the idea is that with enough money spent on the project, space-based compute will be cheaper than Earth-based compute within the next 3 years. As a result, SpaceX is reportedly pushing for 1 million satellites to create a planetary-scale GPU cluster. And if all these sound a bit exaggerated, this is probably the first time you are hearing about Elon Musk. And since we are discussing tech in space, here is your awesome recommendation for today. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir is an amazing science fiction book, which is a must-read if you want to see what happens when the entire world is about to go extinct. Okay, enough with the space talk. For the next few minutes, we'll look at the current software job market. But before doing that, please let me tell you a few words about today's sponsor, Ghost. Most build with AI videos treat the database as an afterthought, but this is a major design flaw. Ghost is the first database designed to give AI agents their own forkable Postgres database. What I like most about it is the frictionless experience. There is no dashboard, UI or console on purpose. Your agent can create a database, fork it, query it, and delete it through simple CLI commands or tool calls. You get unlimited databases, unlimited forks, 1 terabyte of storage, 100 compute hours every month, and built-in hard caps so you never get a surprise bill, all for free. Your agent can spin up 50 databases and 25 forks at a zero cost, so you can move as fast as possible without messing up any of your real user data. The dream for any developer is to outsource infrastructure management to their agents and focus on what really matters. Ghost makes this possible. Please check out the link in the description to install Ghost and try it for free with Cursor, Cloud Code, or whatever agent you're already building with. Back to the video, the tech job market has only one constant in 2026: layoffs. Oracle sacked 30,000 employees last month, citing structural changes and cost reduction. Microsoft laid off 15,000 employees to relocate capital towards AI infrastructure and uranium experiments. Block slashed 40% of its employees. Meta cut more than 2,000 roles from their metaverse division. And Atlassian reduced its workforce by 10% to prioritize AI and enterprise growth. The real reason for all this, you've guessed it, is AI infrastructure. Companies like Meta and Microsoft are projected to spend between $80 billion and $135 billion on AI infrastructure this year alone. To keep the shareholders happy while they burn that much cash on GPUs and nuclear-powered data centers, they have to lower the human cost. But there is also some AI job washing in all this. According to a 2026 Forrester report, a significant number of companies attributing layoffs to AI efficiencies don't actually have mature AI applications ready to fill those roles. Instead, they are using AI as a high-tech scapegoat to trim pandemic-era bloat and appease their investors, because remember that at the end of the day, we all work to keep the investors happy. What's more interesting though is that the market is showing the first signs that fully committing to AI is not a good strategy, and some companies are slowly starting to hire boring, deprecated old geeks again. After so much 10x AI development speed, we are now depending on 1x developers to actually supervise and make sense of all the slop that was generated in the past 2 years. An analysis by GitClear of over 211 million lines of change code found that projects heavily using AI coding tools showed a 60% decline in refactored code, a 48% increase in copy-paste patterns, and a doubling of code churn, the percentage of lines reverted or substantially modified within 2 weeks of being written. Also, reports are now showing that as of April 2026, over 70% of indexed web content is suspected to be AI-generated. This is leading to modal collapse, where AI models are being trained on their own previous outputs, causing a measurable digital inbreeding effect. So, after months of pain, humans are slowly becoming relevant again, and we are finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. If you look at the Federal Reserve economic data for software development job postings on Indeed, the people celebrating the death of software development will have a pretty bad day. Postings hit a dismal low around May 2025, but since then, we've seen a steady 10-month climb. As of right now, in early 2026, job postings are up 15% from that all-time low, with a particularly sharp acceleration starting in January. Of course, if you zoom out on a 5-year period, you'll see that we are nowhere near the numbers we hit in the pandemic, but, in all fairness, those were completely detached from reality. Back then, if you could exit a Vim session without turning your computer off, you'd be immediately promoted to senior while getting a signing bonus in Dogecoin. And since I mentioned crypto, Google Quantum AI released a white paper which essentially demonstrated that 256-bit elliptic curve cryptography, which is the bedrock of blockchain, could soon be cracked in minutes by quantum computers, potentially turning private crypto assets into open-source free-for-all tokens unless a massive human-led migration to post-quantum cryptography occurs immediately. Previously, experts thought you'd need about 10 million physical qubits to crack Bitcoin. Google's new math suggests they can do it with fewer than 500,000 physical qubits. While we aren't there yet, they've effectively moved the Q-day, which is the day current encryption dies, about 5 to 10 years closer. And, while I have zero interest in crypto stuff, the advancements in quantum computing are a really fascinating topic we might explore in a future video. So, to recap, our water is being boiled into clouds, our jobs are being redefined by managers who think AI can replace us, and the encryption protecting our life's work is being deprecated by a fridge-sized computer in a Google lab. I know these Monday morning reviews are getting pretty dark, so next week we'll have to focus on the positives. If you like this video, you should consider joining our community where I'm posting more dedicated weekly content. Please don't forget to smash all the buttons, and until next time, thank you for watching.